Hello, today we're going to start on a steel plate bumper from my wife's 3rd gen. We're going to incorporate enough space for a winch mount. We'll go ahead and get started. So this is the truck. It's a 99 4runner. It's actually a replacement for another 99 4runner that we had. She'd bought it with plans to build it, and coming home one afternoon from bow hunting, we T-boned an F-350. Drunk driver pulled out in front of us, ran a stop sign, totaled that truck. So this is the new one. We just did a 3-inch lift with Bilstein 5100s. So we'll go ahead and get this bumper going, leaving enough room for the winch, but we're not putting a winch in it right now. We're going to try to use the factory mounts and the factory bolts, but flipped, so the nuts will have to be cut off. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with making a template of the stock brackets. I prefer to use poster board over cardboard if I have it. If not, I will use cardboard. Poster board is just a little bit easier to work with. It's cheap. Usually like to steal it from my kids. They have it for school. I'm just going to line this up and use what I would refer to as the dirty finger method. Just press along the edge of the bracket and where the holes are, and it'll cause an impression on the poster board. Just like that. Okay. Okay, I've gone ahead and cut it out, transferred it to the steel with center punches. We'll go ahead and plasma cut this out. Actually, we'll do 2 of them. Okay, so I went ahead and I cut the plates out, and obviously this is the template I used. I ended up trimming them as I'm going to be putting a winch in here. So I cut the stock plate back to match the frame rail. This will get re-welded, and this will leave room for some reinforcement gussets to come forward for the recovery points I'm going to put in with the winch. But that's where we started. Just trimmed it out on both sides, and just have to find the profile I want, which will be pretty similar to my other truck. It's kind of a bare minimum size for fitting a winch behind this bumper. Okay, so this is the profile I'm going to go for. Leaves enough at the bottom for a winch plate to go in, winch mount, and fits the overall profile of what we're going for. And we'll cut these out of steel and move along. Okay, I've gone ahead and got both sides cut out from steel. I'll get them tacked on, and then I'll start figuring out the cuts for the plates. Okay, I went ahead and got these welded on. Some on the back, and this bar here is just holding everything square until I start putting some plates on. Also welded the nuts to the mounting plate as well. Okay, so I've gone ahead and got a center section cut out. I just sliced through where I'm going to have my corners, leave little pieces attached so I can bend them easier. I can only go on 16 gauge on my brake, so this makes it a little bit easier with the 11 gauge. Okay, so on the corner wing here, I went ahead and built a bracket that ties into the factory bolt hole location. It'll be accessible through the same hole in the inner fender as is stock. Okay, so it's been about 3 weeks since I worked on this, since the last clip. I just got busy with other projects and waiting for this light bar to come in. She had to decide on which one she wanted. She did want it mounted higher up than on my other truck, so I went ahead and brought this lip up, added some filler corners, kind of shooting for similar shape of what the stock hood scoop is. It's a sport model if I recall correctly. We're gonna end up cutting some access holes in here that will allow to reach in to make the winch free spool or locked, which would be over here, and the fair lead will be down in here. And I'm not set yet, but somewhere in here is going to be some recovery points, not like a traditional one. She doesn't want anything sticking out, so I'm going to have to come up with a design kind of like a receiver. I can slide something in, pin it, and we'll have a recovery point just when needed. So that's where we're at with this. I'll try to take it out of wide angle so it doesn't look so skewed. That's where we're at. Okay, so I have this all welded up, and in a coat of brushed on Rust-Oleum bare metal primer, I'll go ahead and get this painted black, flip it over, do some more metal finishing on the outside, primer and paint. This is the first mist coat of primer going on it. Do one or two more coats and then onto the black. So this is the paint that I use, just Rust-Oleum Professional High Performance, and the matching primer. Did two coats of primer, 3 coats of paint, and it actually, for a rattle can, looks pretty acceptable in my book. Not bad for a rattle can. This is going to be getting cut open here in a couple weeks for access to a winch to free spool. A fair lead here, recovery points here and here that are going to be removable. She doesn't want them in there full time. So I'll get another clip after it dries a little bit. This is gloss, so it's not going to lose its shine. And then I'll get the lights untaped. So here we have it. Ditch lights on. Just have the flashers on for the turns. Again, it mounts in all the factory bolt holes. Just the bolts have been flipped the opposite direction. And then underneath, it bolts into the holes for the factory skid. Bolts in to the same holes. So here in a couple weeks, I'll be adding a winch to it and the recovery points. For now, we just painted it. After the winch, it'll get bed linered with Raptor liner black. So that's it. Thanks for watching.